So we're having the first word in 2018 from Bismarck Rwani live here on Business Morning. The president has spoken the first word in 2018, and we'll take that to analyze what the administration has in mind for the rest of the new year. But we're doing a scorecard evaluation and some questions left unanswered in the last year to have an idea of what 2018 will look like for you and I. So we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the conversation. Bismarck Rwani, Channel's Business News economic contributor and the Chief Executive Officer at Financial Derivatives Company. Let's go straight to our economic scorecard. I saw a number of green. I love green, then a few red. Well, explain this to us, and that is what we're putting right there on the screen now for our viewers to see. 8
criteria. 5 were green, 3 were red. But the more important, if you weight them, right, the more important ones were green. So that's good. First and foremost, Nigeria is an oil-dependent economy. The price of oil in January 2017 was $52.40. Today, 1st of January, $66.34. So we've had a spike of over 30%. Okay? That's great. The exchange rate, the mixed exchange rate, all right, the blended exchange rate on January 1st, 2017 was 490. You know, it was 520 in the parallel, and it was 490. The purchasing power parity value of the currency was 324.
What does it mean? What does
it means that if you take a basket of goods in Nigeria and take the same basket of goods in the US in dollars and you divide one by the other, what you got was 324 naira. We use the PPP value to determine the exchange rate.
In other words, that what the average man pays.
And that is a fair value of the currency, but currencies exaggerate themselves in the wrong direction. So even though it was 324, it was 490. However, by today, January 1st, 2018, 365 to $1
on the street.
On the street, and 335 by the purchasing. So the gap has narrowed, which is good. Kudos to the central bank. They made the market more transparent and they put more supply. Okay, so that was good, right? So we have to acknowledge the progress there. Then the external reserves were $26 billion in January 2017. They're up to 37.92. Some people say even 40. Okay, so again, you know, we paid in some of our borrowed money into our reserves and everything, but technically speaking, our reserves are higher. So
we're looking good.
We are looking much better, right? Inflation was 18.72 at the beginning of the year. It's down to 15.90. We'll come and talk about that later in some more detail. The big problem was that unemployment and underemployment put together was 36%. Today, unemployment and underemployment is over 40%.
So if you put those two together, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. Yes. So if we just do a simple math, it's about 40%.
Yes.
I'm going
now
to write
the misery index was 53.92. That's when you add unemployment to inflation. 53.92. While today the misery index is 55.90. In other words, 55 or 56% of the people are more miserable than they were
on January 1st of 2017.
So even though the indicators look positive, the people feel bad. And so that's what the president is trying to address. That, okay, it's time to have an impact. And it's trying to, you know, play catch up so that we can, because there's no point having happy statistics and unhappy people, right? So we need to have that addressed. The stock market was capitalization was 8.9 trillion. It's up to 13.6 trillion, which shows that confidence is being restored.
We added almost 8 trillion.
Yeah, so I mean, including new listings, yeah. I mean, but that's good, right? Because international investors, domestic investors are beginning. And in this year, we had $21.9 billion of diaspora remittances. We're the 6th largest in the world this year. So that means that apart from oil, our biggest export were our skills and our people, Nollywood, footballers, doctors, dentists, and all. Then vacant properties, which is a lagging indicator. Vacant properties, the index went from 165 to 172. So there was about a 7% increase in the number of vacant properties. But again, these are lagging, like unemployment, property is a lagging indicator. It happens after the effect. If you look at the 3 quarters of 2017, in every quarter in Q1, Q2, and Q3, unemployment increased, underemployment increased, which tells you that in spite of the leading indicators were still suffering in terms of impact. We had non-inclusive growth. And then if you look at the state-by-state analysis, you find that River State, where there's high oil production, actually had the highest misery index because the people are not employed.
Just a quick one. So if you look at that economic scorecard, the story of our lives, as folks will use that phrase, is actually around the three, which is inflation, unemployment, underemployment, and the misery index. That's where statistics don't go to my breakfast or dinner table. I don't want to eat statistics. I want to eat real food. That's where Nigeria's misery. Life is always inflation, which is the price of what I pay for goods and services, and whether I have jobs or I'm underemployed, and whether my life is more miserable.
No, but you know, Fela said it very well. Suffering and smiling, 24 standing, 26 sitting.
99 standing.
Yeah, and all of that. So, because that's it. You're suffering and smiling, but you're miserable.
That song was how many decades ago?
Almost 30 years ago.
30 years ago? And we're still talking about misery index?
Absolutely.
Okay, part of the story of our life. So we go about the states, how the states perform and how does our money go. So we have quite a lot of money on our table in 2017. But how did we go as far as spending this money or sharing it, as it were?
Well, first and foremost, we shared more money, right? We spent more money, but we spent it on what? Spent it on salaries, spent it on security vote, and less on capital votes. And that is why you still have higher unemployment. So the impact of the expenditure has not been felt. And we must differentiate between expenditure and investment. If you spend money and the people consume it, it goes down the tube.
It goes into thin air.
Yeah, but if you invest it, like when we're talking about railway, we're talking about roads, then it has, one, it creates jobs. Two, it increases productivity, which is the thing. So there's direct investment, there's productivity gains, and then there's confidence building.